Hey guys, I used to shave with a Gillette Fusion. I think it's got a 5-blade cartridge system, and four of the Gillette Fusion cartridge razor blades would cost me £12. Then I moved on to this, which is also a Gillette. It's also a cartridge razor, and a pack of these, which, well, you get four of these in one pack, and they come in at £5.49. Yeah, I thought that was a good deal until I found these things, which are double-edged safety razors, and they're absolutely fantastic. They've saved me a fortune. Now, this was £40. Okay, you may be thinking, oh, it's more expensive than the cartridge. No, it's not. It's miles cheaper, and I'll tell you why in one moment. So this is the Merkur 38C, made in Germany, and this is the Edwin Jagger DE89, made in England, and the Merkur cost £40. The Edwin Jagger DE89 cost £22. Now, a pack of these blades. Now you get 10 blades in the pack. If I can focus. There we go. So I got 200 of these packs. So altogether that was 2,000 razor blades, and they only cost me £49. So 10 of these works out at, 10 blades would work out at 25 pence for this pack, or 2.5 pence per blade. So with these, per year, it cost me £1.20 to shave with. That's £1.20 per year. So this and this together for a whole year works out at £41.20. Now with the Gillette Fusion per year, I was paying around £144 a year. You see, it works out far cheaper. So the moral of the story is, get yourself a double-edged safety razor. It will save you a fortune, and you do not throw these away. These will last you forever. They're made of solid metal, solid like cast iron. They're all chromed. They're amazing. And when you're using them, one very important tip, because if you don't follow this, you will get cut. When you're shaving, do not apply pressure with them. Just lightly let the weight of the razor do the work, and they will just remove all your whiskers. They're amazing, amazing machines. You can pass them on to your children. Actually, tell your grandfather about these type of razors, and he'll tell you how good they are. And I've got a shaving bowl and a brush. Buy these brushes out of Asda for around £4. Shaving soap from Asda lasts me 1 year, 50 pence. What I do, I put all the soap on the brush, make sure there's a lot, then I lather into a bowl, whip up the lather, add a tiny little bit of water, keep on whipping it up until it's thick and dense. Make sure all the air bubbles are out. You do not want any bubbles. Make sure it's like a meringue, and apply. You'll get a great shave. And there's lots of razor blades to choose from. As you can see, you get the Muller from Germany, Derby from Turkey, Treat from Pakistan, Supermax from India, Feather from Japan, Gillette from America. Many different makes to choose from. Very cheap. And what should I do with this cartridge? Yeah, in the bin. What a load of rubbish. And you know, dermatologists and skin experts recommend these type of razors because cartridge razors like this, they can cause ingrown hair, acne and other skin problems. And this thing about the lubrication strip they go on about, you do not need this. This is a marketing myth because the soap you apply to your face is a moisturiser. It moisturises your skin while you shave, it softens it. So please, this is just marketing hype. And the 4 blades or 3 blades or whatever, man has always used one razor blade for many years. This is all mass marketing hype because Gillette were losing millions, they were losing a whole load of money because of these. And they said, how can we make more money? Oh, let's con men everywhere saying that 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 blades is better. What a load of rubbish. Men, get rid of these nasty things. Do what I did. Buy one of these. You can buy them even cheaper. I've seen them on eBay for around £3, but they won't be as good as these ones I've mentioned. And remember, let the weight of the razor do the work. There's another video on this which you can see. But please buy this and ignore the mass marketing crap which the big companies come out with. These will last you forever. You do not throw this away. You put the razor blade into the razor, and after about 3 shaves you only throw the blade away. These will last you forever. You do not have to buy another one again. Basically I bought this for everyday use, and this I use for when I go on travel, because I travel a lot through my job, so I have to have a razor on me. That's why I've got 2. This is a beautiful razor, the German one. Anyway guys, here's other information for you to see as well. Also guys, I should also state that these razors are brand new. Yes, these types of razors are still being made in the year 2016. But you can buy old-fashioned ones, but these are brand new ones. So don't be alarmed thinking, oh, do they still make them? Yes, they do. There's tons of them still being produced, and you can buy brand new ones on eBay. I'll show you the links. I put them up on the screen, so if you watch the rest of this video. The proper way to shave with a double-edged safety razor is you apply lather to your face, the soap to your face, then you brush from north to south. That is shaving with the grain. That's shaving with the grain. Then you apply the lather, all the soap back on your face, and you shave across the grain. That's across. Then once all that's off, you reapply the lather. Lather your face with soap again, and then you shave from south to north, and this is against the grain. This is called the 3-pass traditional wet shave. And another great thing about these razors, they never ever get blocked up. Cartridge razor blades like the Gillette Fusions always get blocked up with your hair. These things rinse and then they never get blocked up. They're so easy. I have never had mine blocked up, and I've got a heavy beard growth at times, and I never get a blocked up razor. These things are fantastic. Buy yourself. Go out and buy yourself one today from eBay or Amazon.
My friends at Stag Barbershop, the place in Milwaukee I gave a presentation at last year, contacted me recently with a problem. It seems like some of their clients have difficulty replacing their safety razor blade and wanted to know what the right way was to do it. Well, I don't know if it's the right way, but I can show you how I do it. There are some variables in the mix here. You have single-piece twist-to-open razors, two-piece razors, and three-piece razors. Then you have blades that come out of a magazine unwrapped, another type of magazine with the individual blades wrapped, or razor blades individually wrapped in a simple box, either in bulk or in smaller containers. Let's look at some of the differences. The twist-to-open razor with unwrapped blades out of a magazine is probably the simplest, most convenient combination. Simply open the razor, pluck out the blade, and deposit it in the used blade slot in the magazine. Then partly slide out the new blade and slip it into the razor, so. Twist to close, and you're done. Let's look at individually wrapped blades for a moment. They may come in a single wrapper or in a double wrapper like this one. There may also be a small dot of adhesive on the blade so the wrapper stays closed. I'll discuss the adhesive more in a moment. Simply unwrap carefully and be sure to grasp the blade by its ends and never on the blade edge side. The adhesive residue can cause some annoyance when removing a blade from a 2- or 3-piece razor. Usually the blade will just fall out, but sometimes it will stick to the top cap of the razor. If that's the case, after unscrewing the razor, grasp the cap by the ends of the blade and gently push down. I find it's helpful to set the cap on a counter atop a towel so it's less likely to slip around. Again, remember to handle the blade by the ends and avoid the edge. Replacing a blade is just a matter of positioning the blade over the mounting posts of the top cap as shown. 2-piece razors just need to be mated, but 3-piece razors have the extra mounting plate that goes between the blade and the razor handle. Remember that the mounting place must be positioned correctly. If you put it on upside down, you will not get a very good shave. As you screw down the razor top into the handle, I find it helpful to rest a finger on top of the razor. That not only keeps the finger away from the blade edge, but also can help position the blade symmetrically so each side is even.
Hey guys, I've had a lot of people ask me since I told people I was going to start wet shaving a couple months ago, and I've been doing it now for a couple months, and thought I would just post about it and say that I'm still doing it. I really like it. I originally was looking for a way to get away from paying $25 for 4 cartridges that lasted maybe a month, maybe a little longer, and heard about double-edged safety razors and started doing a lot of research and got into it, and I still enjoy it, so much so that my wife even got into it and got her own razor as well. So this is not a tutorial. There's a lot of videos out there of guys who are experts or own stores and shops where you can purchase from, vendors like ShaveNation.com or West Coast Shaving or Razor Emporium, all great places, all places I've bought from, and this is just a beginner's review of double-edged shaving and the blades that I've used. I've used 6 blades so far, and with that I'm going to review each blade and tell you where they came from, how much they cost, and what I like best. Alright guys, I'm going to start out with my least favorite blade out of the 6 blades, and that would be the Derby blade. It is made in Turkey. It's about $15 for a pack of 100, and I average those prices out over a few websites such as ShaveNation.com, RazorEmporium.com, and West Coast Shaving, and some of them, if I couldn't find them there, I looked on Amazon and used them for pricing as well. Trying to show you guys the blade, the wrapper it comes in, and then the pack that it comes in. This particular pack is it has some plastic around the box, and it also has a way to dispose of the blade. in the back of it, so you can throw them out. Some of them don't have that, and I'll point those out when we get to those. So like I said, this one was just a little rough on the face. A lot of tugging and pulling, especially in the neck area. Just wasn't my favorite blade at all, so this one ended up last. I would still use them. I'll use up what I have, but I will not be purchasing these blades. Alright guys, this is my number 5 blade. This was the Merkur blades. I had one of these come free with the Merkur 34C that I purchased to start shaving with a double edge razor. Good blade, fairly smooth cut, a little rougher than some of the other blades. However, looking at the price point, which I took from a couple of websites again, that's the price for the average price for 100 blades. It just seemed a little high for the blades once I started comparing to the rest of them. Alright guys, the next in line is the feather blades. These are made in Japan. And these are the ones you'll hear on most websites and reviews that you look at, as the blade's so sharp they'll decapitate you if you're not careful. I didn't find that. They're not to be feared. They are very sharp. I would think they're good for going like going through a 3-day beard or something like that. But they leave my face a little rough. It's a little too aggressive of a blade for my face. I have fair Irish skin and a pretty coarse beard. And for my taste and for the price, it just wouldn't have been my first choice in blades. Great blade. Again, all these blades are good blades. I'm just giving you an opinion of what I like best to what I like least out of the ones that I have tried in the short time I've been shaving. Okay, the next blade in line, which would be my number 3, is the red Personas. Not to be confused with the blue Personas, which I understand are an entirely different company. The blues are made in the US. I haven't been able to get my hands on any of those, so I haven't tried those. But these red Personas are made in Israel, and great blades. I had a really good shave with these the first time I used it. I think it was the first blade I used where I thought, wow, that blade really makes a difference. Smooth shave. It is also, as I mentioned before, my wife has started shaving and she's only tried out a couple of blades, but so far this is her favorite as well. And very sharp, platinum coated for a smooth shave. Really like these. Alright guys, the next in line, number 2, is the crystal blades from Israel. Very affordable, as you can see, 100 of them. Averaged out to $15.73 in US dollars. And I did notice that crystals come in 2 separate outer packaging. I did have one company tell me that they were 2 separate blades. I can't vouch for the ones that come in the more red packaging. I can tell you that these came in a pack that would go on like a hanger on a rack at your local store, that was black and gray and said crystal in block letters on top of it. But these were very sharp, very comfortable shave. Definitely my number 2, and affordable as well. Alright guys, and now for my number 1 blade. This is the Astra Green. They're platinum coated. They're made in Russia. As you can see, just a plain white wrapper on the outside of the blade. The blades say Astra Superior Platinum on them. And price point averaged out to about $18 for a pack of 100, but I have seen them even lower than $11 on Amazon just the other day. These left no irritation on my face at all. It was very smooth, cut right through, did a 3-pass shave, no irritation, no nicks, no cuts. As soon as I was done with about the second shave with these, I said, these are going to be my go-to blades, and I've already ordered 100. So this is my number 1 pick. Alright guys, that's the end of my review. There's all the blades. Left being the most popular, right being the least popular with me personally. But as I said, I'm no expert. I'm very new at this, just a beginner. And I'm just giving my opinion from a beginner to other beginners out there. Just showing them what I found that I liked. I'm definitely going to stick with safety razor shaving. Much better than the whole cartridge robbery thing that's going on out there now. I definitely will keep doing this. If you have any questions for these blades, please put something down in the comment section. If you like the video, let me know. And that's all. And see you around. Thanks.
Okay, you just take it and you start working it. You start off and you work it until it starts thickening up a little bit. There, see, it's thickened up a little bit. Then you add some water, just a little bit, a few drops.
I'm using a mixing bowl, and this bowl, a lot of people like this bowl for some reason. I have no idea why. It's, what would it be, 2.5 inches, 3 inches deep by 4 inches in diameter. And it's a plain old bowl I had in my cupboard downstairs, which I wasn't using. But it was the right size for me to create lather in. I can hold it well. It is slippy when it's wet, but you know, your common sense. And it was just the right size, right depth, and I create my lather in this bowl. So it's just a standard bowl. It's not even a shaving bowl. And the soap I'm using is palm olive. Another easily got at. It's about 50 pence here in the UK, and you can buy this in most supermarkets or shops, chemists. And that's a block of soap. Very old, wonderful smell. That's the soap I'm using, and the shaving cream of the same thing. And I'll make or create a lather from both, just for you to see how I do it and how it works for me. So we'll change the camera position now to face the sink. Okay, so we're facing the sink, and a view you've probably not seen before. I have no idea. So the first thing I do is I get my brush before I shave, because I normally have a shower before I shave, because preparation to your face before shaving is very important. If you're not showering, you wet your face with as hot water as you can stand. And this is hot water. It's been soaking in there now for a while. So I'll take that out. All I do is give it a couple of flicks, or maybe 3. So you want it like that, where it's not dripping. You can see. So it's still wet, but it's not dripping wet. And then, if I'm using a shaving soap, now, just to be clear, there are several ways of creating a lather. This is just one of them. I mean, some people wet the brush, go onto the stick, like this. You can do it all sorts of ways. Some people do it like this. It depends how you want to do it. And you will quickly, if you can see, I mean, some people even put the wet soap onto their face and, you know, rub on their face. This is the way I do it, or one of the ways I do it. You get some of this soap into your brush, and you could just lather up, put this straight onto your face and start lathering up. That's a good job done if it works for you. The way I do it, I just rub the soap into the brush, gather as much as you can, and then I get my mixing bowl and I start. Now the secret here, or not a secret, is when you're mixing like this, you can see, is try to put a pumping every now and again. So you're pumping oxygen into the lather, but just keep going, keep going. Now soap does take longer to create a nice creamy lather than cream does, obviously, because it's solid. Now, as you can see there's not a lot of soap I've used, but I'm starting to get, you bring this lather onto your brush and you can see, bring it closer to the camera, it's nice and creamy. But if you want to carry on, just place it back in and just keep going. Now, if you find, so you'll see from this now, the brush was soaking 2 to 3 flicks, so you want the brush wet but not dripping. Rub it onto the soap and then just place it into your mixing bowl. As you know, this isn't a proper shaving bowl, it's an old bowl, so I'm trying to use things that someone who's new to this would use. Saves them spending lots of money on expensive shaving scuttles, brushes and razors, so you can easily got that palm olive solid soap. As you can see, that's created a lovely, that's what you're aiming for. Where are we? There, that peak, see that peak? How it peaks. And that's what you're aiming for, roughly. If you find your soap is a bit watery, take the brush back to the soap and do as we did in the beginning. Rub it again onto the soap, back into the bowl. But as you can see, that's created quite a nice, and I wish you could smell this, shaving lather from shaving soap. There we go. So that's how to create a lather using standard equipment, really. And we'll go on now to using the palm olive shaving cream. Okay then, so I've now cleared the lather from the bowl which had the soap, and we'll now go on to using the palm olive shaving cream. So quite simple this, quite simple. I put in, I'll show you, roughly that much, which is roughly the size of my thumbnail. And it's a green silky colour. Put the lid back on. And the brush again has been rinsed out thoroughly and it's soaking in hot water. So what I do is, as you can see, it's soaking 1, 2, 3. So it's still wet but not dripping. There we go. And absolutely simple. Brush onto the soap, onto the cream. Start mixing like you would beat an egg, really. And as you can see, it's already starting to create. Of course, cream is much easier to create a lather than soap because it's already in a sort of semi-liquid form. But as you can see, the longer I keep going, the more I create. And it's as simple as that, really. As you can see there, so that's peaked. Peaked, lovely. And that's what you want to aim for roughly, is that peaking. When you can do that with it. If I do that again. There we go. And that's ample there for the 3-pass shave, which I follow. But as you can see, from that little pea-sized amount of cream, I've created a good lot of lather. So that was using standard brush, an old bowl, and the palm olive shaving cream.
Younger guys have very soft, pliable, thinner beards, whereas older guys generally have tougher, once our gray starts coming in, our beard gets thicker, the hair follicles gets tougher, it's more brittle, it's more wiry, so it takes a little bit more aggressive shave to be able to give us a good shave versus a young guy just starting that doesn't naturally, by genetics, have a very thick, tough, hard beard. In general, there's been a lot of what's called beginner razors, the DE89, the Edwin Jagger 89, has been known for many, many years as a good beginner razor, and it is. It's a razor that has kind of been copied in basic design by a lot of other razors. The truth be known, and here we're talking truth, there are very few places anymore that are making razors. Not the traditional double-edged style razors. There's no place making single-edge razors other than the specialty ones that use injectors or the Feather Super Pro or professional style blade. Most razors are made, the cheaper razors like the Wishi and some of them that you can see on the internet, they're made in China. There are a lot of razors that are made in Pakistan and India. And there's probably some other places that make a lot of them. But, truth be known, many of the razors that you find out there, including some name brand razors, and I won't go into all of that, are made at the same place that some of the less expensive razors out there. There's Cadet, there's Sabi, there's Pearl. Essentially, those razors are the same ones as Parker's and some of the Razor Rocks, and a bunch of other ones. Maggard, they're all made at the same place. It's just the difference that comes into it is quality control. What makes one razor more expensive than others is the branding and quality control of that final product, and they may tweak a little bit, some fine little detail. For example, here we got a Maggard razor. It's basically a general copy of the DE89. And hopefully you can pick it up. You can kind of see the profile. This is a Parker razor. If you look at it, they are very, very similar. Turn them on their sides, there's a little bit of difference in how they look and hopefully I'll get it so that you can see that. There's a little bit of difference right along here in the profile. Well, it doesn't take a whole lot to change that design, and Parker used to have a very bad reputation related to even their three-piece razors, and it was all a quality control issue, and I think they've corrected that over the years, because this is pretty good quality that I see on this Parker razor that I have. One of the beginning razors that I recommend many times for people is an open comb razor. An open comb razor like this Parker, I think it's the 26C. And why do I recommend an open comb for a beginning shaver? Well, an open comb allows for the more lather to remain on the face as you move the blade across it. It allows for more protection, more slickness to remain on the face as the blade encounters it. Consequently, you can have a little bit more aggressive razor design with an open comb than you can with a solid straight bar style razor, because this straight bar scrapes the lather off before the blade even gets there. Consequently, a straight bar razor, as you're learning, you have more risk of potentially getting nicks and cuts and irritation if you're pressing too hard or you don't have the right angle. So, that being said, what razor do you use? Well, the first place you need to start is, what razor do you have? There are a lot of people that have the old style razors sitting in their drawer or sitting in a box somewhere or at grandma's house under the sink that you can go salvage and use. It's not going to cost you a thing. Is it a better razor? Probably. Or at least just as good, just depending on what it is. Now, there could be a wide range of variants of what those vintage razors are. But you got a vintage razor, use that as your starting razor. Use that as a benchmark of where you start. Now, what kind could you get? Well, the basic ones are some of them that are going to be around that aren't as old as others. We got a couple of super speeds. This is a super speed black handle and a super speed red tip. These were made in the late 50s, 60s, made by Gillette. There was a whole bunch of them introduced. There's all different kinds. This is a Gillette adjustable slim style. This is a Gillette Fat Boy, the 195 razor. They're basically similar design. They were created back in the early 50s, 60s. They're good razors to start with. Each individual razor that's a vintage razor has a little bit different profile, a little bit different angle. Each razor that you pick up is going to have possibly a little bit different angle of attack. One of the biggest problems that you're going to encounter as a beginning shaver when you're moving from something like this is a Gillette Fusion. How many blades? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 freaking blades on this thing. 6 if you count this one back here. It tilts, it swivels. So you don't have to worry about your angle because it's going to follow your face. These things have got very little gap in between them. They get clogged up a lot. You can press down hard with this and it's not going to cut you that easily. You can get cut if you run your finger across it. But as far as shaving goes, it's much more difficult to cut. They designed it for idiots. Let me say it again. They designed this for sheeple idiots. Let that sink in. They don't want you to think about what you're doing. Nor do they really care whether you have comfort when you have your shave. They want the $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 a head. I'm talking the head of the razor every time that you have to replace it after shaving with it 3, 4, 5 times at the most, probably. Those couple of changes that came about in shaving. Well, let me go back. When you got shaving instruments, they all started off basically as a single blade. We got cutthroat straight razor. You shave one blade against the skin. Yeah, you got to be careful. It's not a safety razor. It is exposed. Consequently, it takes more time. You got to maintain the blade. You have to learn how to do it. The angles, yeah, you slip up, you screw up, you lose some concentration, and you're going to get cut. Depending on how bad you screw up, depends on how bad you get cut. But a lot of guys are using these types of razors, getting fantastic shaves, and really enjoying the experience of the most traditional shaving method, which is with a straight razor. Right after the turn of the century, 1910 I believe it is, there's a little gadget called a Durham duplex razor. It's a razor that was introduced to have a blade that fit in and slide in there. It's two-sided, so that you could have the straight razor type of shave, but it had some safety factors in this comb. You didn't have to worry about nicks and cuts. They also had a little attachment that you could use it just like a straight razor, just like a shavette. There was also around about that time another move, and it's called a valet razor. This valet razor allowed you to run a strop. I don't know if you can pick it up or see it. You run a strop through here and you strop your blade. Back then blades were carbon steel. You could potentially renew the edge of that blade. Well, this was one of the early efforts to move to a safety style razor. There was also, even before the turn of the century, a design of razor called the gem type razor. And this was a razor, this is never ready. Where's my gem? There it is. This is a gem. It uses an SE straight razor style blade. They come in these little packets like this. I can get this out. Yeah, I can't get it out. But it is basically a single edge. It's a scraper blade. And if you have one of these types of razors like this sitting around your house, yeah, you can use them. The blades, there are only a couple of different options at the most. There's carbon steel, there's the scraper blades, but you need to specifically buy a blade that is made for shaving. You go out and you buy something at the hardware store that you use to scrape paint with. It's got an edge that's not designed to be comfortable shaving, and you are going to rip your face up. Period. Don't do it. So you need to ask and find out where. Personna makes blades for these. Still here in the United States. They're available. Along about 1904, a guy named King Gillette introduced a blade that is basically the same general design as this. The DE double-edged, two edges, not two stacked on one side, but there's two sides. That's called a DE, double-edged blade. He designed it. This is a 1904, one of the very first razors produced. Open comb design. It's a moderately aggressive shave, and the race was on. It really took off at World War One, whenever there was gassing going on in the trenches and the guys needed to keep a shaved face to be able to fit the gas mask on. King Gillette sold bunches, millions of razors, hundreds of thousands of razors to the military. And that began the trend and the tradition of being clean shaven and the need for being clean shaven. Gillette produced a lot of different razors over the years. Here's another version of the Gillette open comb from that era. It's in a brass, just basic 3-piece razor. Later on, they did more fancier ones. This is a new improved. That was in 30s, 40s. It progressed. 1934, the first twist to open style. It's an aristocrat. Twist to open with an open comb. It wasn't until later that the twist to open razors were basically only the straight bar. Things progressed and moved. There was a long comb that was produced back in the 40s, 50s. This is what's called the Gillette Tech, which is a very good beginning razor for somebody. All different types of razors. You're going to find a razor that you like, but that very first razor, you need to stick with it, whatever it is. If you buy a $20 razor off the internet, one of those micro ones or whatever they are, fine. It's a decent razor. It'll give you a good shave. It may not be as sturdy and last as long as some other razors, but it's a basic piece of equipment and you can learn the basic techniques. Don't spend over about $30 for a razor when you're first starting. Use the first 30 to 90 days of daily shaving to learn the muscle memory and to develop the technique, the process. Yeah, you're going to get nicks, you're going to get irritation, you're going to get potentially cuts occasionally because you haven't learned how to move from shaving with something like this, which is one of the later versions of the Track 2. And they put all kinds of new gimmicks on them. Here's this lubricating strip. Look at it. Tell me what you think about the lubricating strip. Is it a gimmick? Or does it do anything for you? Never understood the lubricating strip. Where is it? It's behind the blade. It doesn't touch your face until after you've shaved. Why do you need to be lubricated after you've shaved the whisker? Because you got to go over it multiple times, even though you got multiple blades. Think about it. The average traditional wet shave is 3 passes. With the grain, across the grain, against the grain. Many people get near or close to baby butt smooth with those 3 simple passes. 3 times does that blade encounter your face. 3 times does that blade potentially irritate your skin. 3 times does that blade exfoliate and move the outer dead layers of your skin. Exfoliate. Talk about that. You know, there's a movement going on right now where a lot of women are shaving their face as an alternative to waxing and just simply to exfoliate. Why is that? Because women have noticed that men that shave have better skin than they do without having to do all the cosmetics and stuff. Why is that? Because we are constantly exfoliating our skin. How did I get off on that? But just to mention that, yes, there are women in wet shaving, in a traditional wet shaving, and you are very, very welcome, and we welcome you and want to help you out in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't know a whole lot about your needs, but there are a lot of principles in traditional wet shaving for men that apply to you too. So if you're here, listen up, learn. You got questions to help you out as much as you can. Okay. But think about it. 2-pass shave. You're not going to get all the whiskers even with 2 blades with a single pass. You're going to have to go over it again, or you're going to go multiple times in the same spot, right? So, if with just a simple 2-bladed razor, you go with the grain and then you go against the grain. How many passes is that? 4. Let me say it again. 4. You use this 5-bladed beast. If you just have to go over it twice, how many passes is that? 10. You've multiplied by a factor of at least 3 the chances of you being irritated and getting a poor shave, because you've exposed your face to a sharp, razor sharp implement that many times in one shave. Don't hear that in any commercials, do you? That's the hype. The truth is, and dermatologists back it up, is by using a single edge razor, whether it's an injector, Schick injector like this, or whether it's a DE razor like this, or whether it's a very new razor, the Mongoose, like this, using a single edge razor blade is healthier for your face. It results in fewer ingrown hairs and fewer dermatological irritations than using a multiple blade. Dermatologists will say don't use any more than a double blade razor, a 2-track razor. Any more than that, and you're irritating your face. I've written my blog. The way I'm going to do these is I'm going to write my blog and I'm going to do the video. The two are not going to be exactly the same. There's stuff I covered in the blog article I didn't cover here, and vice versa. But starting out in traditional wet shaving, you need the instrument. There are a wide variety of things that you can choose. When you start out, get one razor and use it for quite a while, 30 to 90 days minimum, before even thinking about going to something else. And the only way I would say think about going to something else is if you've got one of these vintage razors, like something like if this vintage razor was in your drawer. This is a Jim Micromatic Open Comb. It's the beast. It's one of the more aggressive shaves there is. I wouldn't recommend that a beginning shaver use this unless you've got a very hard, dense, tough beard. So you still need to do a little bit of research, even if you got a vintage razor, just to see if it's something that you can potentially use. Google, internet, it's your friend. Go try to find the answers before you go to the shaving boards and start asking a bunch of questions. Find out and do your basic research. And then if you still don't understand, then seek out some help. And that help is there. And two, a word on software. And software is your shaving cream, your shaving soap. Don't worry about that when you're first starting. Just use what you got, use what you can find, even if it's this crap. Go ahead and use it. The secret, though, that I'll give you a point, and there'll be later things that I talk about pre-shave techniques and products. The most important thing when shaving is the preparation of your beard. The preparation of your beard means that that hair follicle needs to be engorged with water. It needs to be hardened. Let me say that again. Hardened, not softened. There are some very popular people in the traditional wet shaving world says you need to soften your beard. Use conditioner on it before you shave. They're idiots. You put a conditioner like you use on your hair. What's that do? It softens your hair. Okay? How does it soften your hair? It puts a coating on it. It fills in all the little micro abrasions and things, and it makes your hair smooth. What's that doing to your hair? It's not allowing water to penetrate into it very easily. It's putting a protective coating on it. You do that to your beard, and you're going to get a terrible shave. The hair follicle, the outer coating, must be stripped away. The properties of basic soap removes that outer coating of the hair follicle. That allows water. There's little bitty fibers, kind of like a little bitty tree leaf that opens up and allows water to get in to that hair follicle. It plumps it up and enables it to stand up so that the blade can come and shave it off. Otherwise, it just kind of flexes as that blade comes over and cuts not this way, it shaves it long ways. Basic, simple. Read the old 1905 document, Shaving Made Easy. It's available in PDF. It's a free document in many places. Some people charge a few bucks for it. But Shaving Made Easy back in 1905 explained that process and it hadn't changed. So, consequently, wash your face. Use something like an Noxzema, a deep cleansing type of cleanser. You can leave that on your face, before, let it set, let it rest, put the lather on your face, let it rest for a couple of minutes, let the moisture in that soap product soak into your hair follicles before you ever shave. You'll get a much better shave. It'll be smoother. You'll have a lot more slickness in your shave, regardless of what shaving cream, shaving soap that you use. Another just brief pointer, starting off, if you've never used a shave brush before, use a cream instead of a soap to start off. Creams are far more easier to learn how to use than soap. Save that enjoyment for later on. So, I've rambled on. This has turned out to be far longer than what I anticipated it to be, but I want to cover the information and try to be a little entertaining as we go along. Not sure what the next one is going to be. Probably, I don't know. I won't even commit to it. I had originally planned for this to be 1 week after the introduction. If I had time, you guys, your responses to the introduction video inspired me to go ahead and do it now, so that I'll be releasing it sometime Sunday evening, the 1st of March. So until next time, have some good shaves. Work it hard at being happy, because happiness is more attitude than anything else. But definitely be safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.